Allegations of misconduct are always serious, but they're especially so in a sector like banking, which has historically been known as hypermasculine and at times misogynistic. Banks have a duty to take allegations seriously, but some cases are much more peculiar than others. A case earlier this year by a former JPMorgan VP went viral for a myriad of reasons, and now the man, claiming to have received both racial and sexual abuse, has filed another claim in court. JPMorgan is denying everything. Find out why in the Coffee Run. This week's top story is about Chirayu Rana, a former VP in JPMorgan's leveraged finance team. He accused an executive director, Lorna Hajdini, of sexual harassment and abuse, but it's the specifics of that case that are casting doubt on the situation. Rana said that Hajdini made him her sex slave in exchange for bonuses and promotions. Rana, currently 35 years old, left JPMorgan in October. He was there for roughly 18 months, according to his FINRA profile. Before deep diving into these allegations, it's important to note that JPMorgan has categorically denied all of Rana's claims. In a statement shown on screen, the bank said that it conducted an internal investigation into the allegations, finding nothing. It also stated that Rana declined to participate in this investigation, nor to provide any evidence to them which would support his claims. Rana initially filed the complaint as a John Doe. The filing did mention by name Lorna Hajdini, an executive director in the leveraged finance team who'd been registered with the bank on FINRA since 2011. The initial filing said that Hajdini joined the leveraged finance group 1 month after Rana becoming his supervisor. It also said that Hajdini believed herself to be on track for a managing director promotion and implied that she would help Rana achieve a promotion too in exchange for reciprocating her advances. The filing claims Hajdini said she owned Rana. The filing alleged that she would frequently call both Rana and his partner by racial slurs. The most infamous section of the case was an allegation that Hajdini mocked the appearance of Rana's partner in a racist manner and said she didn't have quote-unquote these cannons. It's the most talked about part of the initial filing and caused many to doubt Rana's claims. It's important to note this allegation has not carried over to the newest filing in which Rana is mentioned by name. Rana also alleged that Hajdini spiked a drink with Rohypnol and other pharmaceutical substances prior to engaging in intercourse with him. After this filing went viral, it did not take long for John Doe to be outed as Rana. He'd since left JPMorgan and went to work for private equity firm Briegel Sagemount. The firm told us that Rana only ended up staying there for less than 6 months, leaving in April. His current employment status is unknown. It was also revealed after the filing that JPMorgan offered Rana $1 million to settle the case. The bank would argue this was done to end the scandal quickly and avoid further bad publicity, but Rana might be more inclined to treat that as an admission of guilt in some capacity. Rana, who claimed to earn $2 million a year in his most recent filing, was looking for an offer in the tens of millions of dollars instead. JPMorgan obviously declined. In May, Hajdini filed her own claim against Rana, claiming she was defamed and that Rana had inflicted emotional distress on her. This was driven by the abundant number of AI deepfakes circulating the internet of both her and Rana. The filing said these were of a persistently vile, degrading and sexual nature, and said that she has had to receive mental health treatment to manage the distress of the ordeal. JPMorgan said at the time that it fully supports Lorna and her right to protect her reputation. Rana, meanwhile, was briefly able to acquire the services of Daniel Kaiser as an attorney. He most famously represented multiple women in court cases against disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. Kaiser had previously said that the New York Post would be embarrassed by its coverage, which he claims was biased towards Hajdini. However, Kaiser surprisingly withdrew from the case shortly before a hearing in May. This week, Rana submitted his revised complaint. He dropped his previous filing in the New York State Court, filing this new one in the federal court, including multiple new defendants. The allegations against Hajdini were kept the same for the most part, excluding some conspicuous absences like the mention of Rana's partner earlier. Rana claimed that Hajdini quote-unquote groomed, isolated and coerced him. The new filing also included hard evidence, however very little was to do with the allegations against Hajdini. Instead, it was more about a culture of racial discrimination within the leveraged finance team, which was also mentioned in the first filing. Text messages alleged to be from JPMorgan employees used racial slurs to refer to Rana and displayed stereotypes such as saying that Rana had to pay for things in rupees. 2 pieces of evidence were said to correlate to Hajdini's alleged abuse. One was an email asking Rana to come with her to a public event separate from their work at JPMorgan. His filing said this was evidence of her trying to erode professional boundaries. The other evidence was a message allegedly within JPMorgan's internal systems in which Hajdini mocked the dating profile of an unnamed member of the leveraged finance team. The filing claims this is evidence that Hajdini acted with impunity and did not believe she would be held accountable for her actions. Rana claims to have witnesses which will corroborate his story too. We cannot comment on how valid Rana's claims are. Colleagues of his speaking to the Wall Street Journal said he was ambitious and good at bringing in new business, but somewhat lacking socially. Colleagues of Hajdini, meanwhile, said she was a model employee. Rana's case is ongoing, as is Hajdini's defamation suit. We can only wait and see how both cases unfold.